Hey fourth graders, welcome back to another math lesson. Today we're going to be focusing on adding up fractions. And the biggest thing to remember when we're adding up fractions is that our denominators need to be the same in order to add up our numerators. So sometimes those denominators aren't the same, so I'm going to show you what you can do, what strategy you can use to make sure that you do have the same number at the bottom for your denominator so that you're going to be able to add them up. And also, when we're adding up fractions, sometimes our fractions become greater than 1, and so what can you do then when your fraction is greater than 1? I'll show you that as well. So it's all about adding up fractions today, so let's get started. So here's the first question. We have 2/5 plus 4/5 equals blank, right? So your eyes directly should go to your denominator whenever you're adding up fractions because you want to see, is my denominator the same? So in this case, the denominator 5 is the same, so we are good to go to just add up our numerators, right? So it seems like a pretty easy question of 2/5 plus 4/5 equals blank. I'm just rewriting it. So if I wanted to create a drawing, a fraction model of this, it would look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces, and I'm adding them up. So I could do my first fraction, I could shade like this. So here's 2/5, and I'm adding 4/5, and then so this one could be like this. So I've just already done 3 of the fifths, so it looks like I'm going to need another of the same model, the same fifths. And I'm going to shade one more in because it's 1, 2, 3. Here's the 4/5 and the 2/5. So all together I have how many shaded? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And my denominator stays the same, 6/5. So my answer is 6/5. But as you can see, my numerator is bigger than my denominator, which means now I've created a improper fraction. You can see it's more than 1. It's 1 whole and a little bit over here, which we can change into 1 whole, and then what's shaded here? 1 and 1/5. So 6/5 is the same as 1 and 1/5. So that would be the answer to this question. It's either, you could say 6/5 or 1 and 1/5. So that's how that goes. We had the same denominator, so we were in pretty good shape. We just had to check out our more than one fraction we made a drawing, and then we were able to put it as an improper fraction or a mixed number. So this is improper fraction, and this is the mixed number. Okay, great. Now let's move on. Check this out. So I'm seeing 2/6 plus 1/12 equals blank. So I'm already, my eyes go straight to the denominator and I'm thinking, okay, 6 and 12. So not the same number, but also not too bad because I know that 6 and 12 are friends. And the way I know they're friends is because 6 is a factor of 12. When I count by 6, I hit 12, right? 6, 12, right? 6 times 2 is 12. So that's actually very, very helpful to me because that means if 6 is a factor of 12, that means I can keep 12 as my denominator and I'm going to make it my job to get 12 here as my denominator. So what I'll do is I'll rewrite the question, and since I'm going to keep 12 as my denominator, that means this fraction does not need to change. I'm just going to keep it as 1/12. The only thing that's going to be changing is this fraction. I got to make an equivalent fraction. I need an equivalent fraction. So 2/6, I need an equivalent fraction where there's 12 at the bottom. So I'm trying to think. 6, I said that I can times by 2 to get 12. And whatever I do to my numerator, whatever I do to my denominator, I have to do to my numerator. So I'm also going to times my numerator by 12, so 2 times by 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. So 4/12 and 2/6 are exactly this. They're equivalent fractions. They're just they look different, but they're the same amount. So now I'm in pretty good shape to add up because my denominators are the same. So I could keep the 12 at the bottom, and I have 4 plus 1, which is 5. So 5/12 is going to be the answer to 2/6 plus 1/12. And if in a picture model, to make 12ths, I'm going to do thirds, sixths, and 12ths. And so I have 4 12ths, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then plus one more 12th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 12ths would be the final answer. And it's not a improper fraction. It's not more than 1. We can see it in our model. It's even less than a half. So it's 5 12ths is the answer. So the biggest thing was we were trying to change this fraction into a fraction that had the same denominator as our other fraction, because we need the same denominator to add up our two fractions. So you can see that here. Okay, moving on. Then we get to the big guys, which are our mixed numbers. When we want to add up, we can also add up fractions that are mixed numbers, where you have the whole number and a fraction. So you still have to pay attention to the denominators. You have to see if they're the same. But one thing that you can do to make your life a little bit easier is separate your whole numbers from your fractions. So as you can see, I have 1 and a 3. So I'm going to take those out. You can take out the whole numbers, and you can put the fractions together. So 1/3 plus 2/3. You kind of separate them. And so 1 plus 3, that's easy, that's 4. And then here, to add up, let me check, are my denominators the same? Yes. So I could just keep the 3 as my denominator, and then 1 plus 2, 3 over 3, which we know is 1 whole. So now I take the parts. I take this part and this part, and I put it together. 4 plus 1 is 5. So the answer to this fraction altogether is 5. And it is, you can also draw it out. So when I draw this out, I'm seeing thirds as my denominator, so I know my picture is going to be thirds. So I have 1 and 1/3, so it's all of this, 1 whole, and another 1/3. And then I'm adding 3. So again, so we have 3 wholes, and then 2/3. So when I put all of this together, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4 wholes, and then another 1, 2, 3, 3/3, which makes it into the 5 wholes. This is where the 5 wholes comes from. Okay, and then last one is, you look here, again, you have your mixed number. You have wholes and you have fractions. So you can separate them. Separate the wholes out. 2 plus 3 equals blank. And then 3/4 plus 3/4 equals blank. So the 2 plus the 3, that's easy, that's 5. Let me look here. My denominators are the same, that's great. So I can put the 4 down. And then 3 plus 3, that's 6. Okay, so when I added these up, I got 6/4, which I know is an improper fraction. It's bigger than 1. So I just need to do some work to figure out the mixed number for that. So if I drew a model with fourths, here's half, here's fourths, and I want 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm gonna have to make another model. 5, 6, I can see it's 1 whole and 2/4 would be the mixed number. And I gotta take that and add it up with my whole numbers. So I have 5 plus 1 and 2/4. So it's really 6 and 2/4. 6 and 2/4 would be your answer here. So again, there's a couple things you need to look for when you are adding up on your own. The fractions, you really need to check if your denominators are the same. When you have mixed numbers, you can separate the mixed numbers with the fractions. When your denominators are not the same, it's no big deal. You just have to find a fraction that you can, an equivalent fraction that will help you to have the same denominator. So you want to check if your fractions are friends. Your denominators are friends, and then creating a fraction that works with the same denominator. So I hope this was helpful. You're going to have some problems to do on your own. Good luck, and talk to you later.